So Elon Musk is like that bully at school who wants to steal your lunch money, except it is far, far worse. He wants your lunch money. He wants your job. He wants to spread rumors about you online. And now his private security detail are U.S. Marshals so they can bring weapons to your place of work. That's the subject of today's video. This is the headline here. Elon Musk's private security detail gets deputized by U.S. Marshal Service. There's so much to keep track of this thing. I can barely keep up. I just saw this today. Elon Musk's private security are now special deputies. Great. And this was actually confirmed by one of Elon Musk's fan accounts. This is a stock promoter. His name is Sawyer Merritt. He tweets out how awesome Tesla is every day. According to Sawyer, and he's citing CNN actually, which is kind of interesting. News: the U.S. Marshal Service has deputized members of Elon Musk's private security detail, giving them certain rights of federal law enforcement agents. They can now be armed with weapons in federal buildings and can use deadly force and be covered by the government. This is a great move. Well, that's a great move according to Sawyer Merritt. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's a great move for us regular people, but it is what it is. Yeah, so Elon Musk has got this security detail that can now bring weapons on federal grounds and I guess be protected by the government after they use deadly force. When you look at this is the fan account of Elon Musk. One person says, excellent move. Another person says, relieved to hear that. Man, I wish I was smart enough to join him. This is getting fun. More of the fan accounts of Elon Musk. Yes, he needs it. WTF, stand in front of him. If someone can take that picture, then he's exposed. Protect Elon, and wow, big move. And guys, that's why I said the best way to think about Elon is like he's that bullet skull and wants to steal your lunch money. Except he wants more than that. It's like a lot more than that. You could also think of him as being the mobster who runs around with his and now literally U.S. Marshals who can take weapons and use deadly force and be protected by the government. It's actually crazy. And also, if you threaten him in any way, they'll send you a letter. So this was actually an interesting one. This is Robert Garcia, and he says here, so if you criticize Elon Musk, Trump's DOJ will send you this letter. Members of Congress must have the right to forcibly oppose the Trump administration. I will not be silenced. And so this is a representative of Congress. This is what the letter says, dated on February 17th. Dear Representative Garcia, as United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, I receive requests for information and clarification. I take these requests seriously and act on them with letters like this one you are receiving. It's from the DOJ. At this time, I respectfully request that you clarify your comments from February 12, 2025, during a live interview with CNN when asked how Democrats can stop Elon Musk, who spoke clearly, and this was the quote, they're quoting him. What the American public wants is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy. So that was the quote, I guess, and then also says here, this sounds to some like a threat to Mr. Musk, an appointed representative of President Donald Trump, when you called a dick, and government staff who work for him. Their concerns have led to this inquiry. I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge of that if you think this is a public threat where he says, the quote was, what the American public wants is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy. So on top of now getting, I guess his private detail now are U.S. Marshals or deputies, the best way to say it. Now they're taking money from bank accounts. I know it keeps getting crazier and crazier. I'll try to explain this story best I can. Eric Adams, who's the mayor of New York, is suing the Trump and Musk people for $80 million that was given to them by the government. But then they did a reversed ACH so they can just pull money out of the account. It was a Citibank account. And the New York people are suing them, saying you illegally took this money, unlawfully took this money. Musk, basically what he does, he spreads rumors online that are misleading or frankly untrue. And I understand this is how the game is played, because the more that I see this, I kind of get the idea. Basically, Musk will spread this outrage online among his followers that, hey, these people are spending this money badly, or this person said this and it's wrong, etc. Let's go after them. So this is, I'll give you an example, walk you through this. So this is Elon Musk. He says, The Doge team just discovered that FEMA sent 59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants. Sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief and instead is being spent on high-end hotels for illegals. A clawback demand will be made today to recoup the funds. So, taken on service, if you were to read this and you believe everything Musk says, you would be like, oh my God, this is so insane. This is so crazy. The problem is this stuff is often very misleading, and he does this with so many posts. And guys, every day I could go through every single one of posts that Musk would say, but it basically bogs you down, right? So I'll just give you the basic gist of this one. So one is it's not exactly luxury hotels, and the way that he portrays it is like they're all staying, at the nicest hotels in the middle of New York City. It's not exactly the case. The legal migrants, I would say, okay. I'll say, yeah, we are talking about that. I would agree with that. Is the money necessarily going from FEMA to, do this thing? No, there's separate programs. There's that. And then also he says he's going to claw back the demand to recruit the funds. Does he even have the power to do that? And so New York City is disputing all these things that he's saying regarding the money, where it's spent, and if you have the power to take it. Now, the Musk and Trump people have already taken the money, so that's why you have this lawsuit here. And this is what all these people are named. So it's Donald Trump's name, Secretary Scott Bessent, Treasury's name, Patricia Collins, FEMA's name, Cameron Hamilton. A lot of people are named here. Homeland Security's name, Kristi Noem is named. And then you have the agency that's unnamed and the department that's unnamed, which is interesting. That they refer to it as U.S. Department or Agency of Unknown Identity. That's DOGE, but you don't know what to call this thing. And they also are suing John or Jane Doe in his official capacity as the head of the U.S. Department of Agency or of Unknown Identity. So they're trying to sue Elon Musk, but we don't know what his exact job title is, etc. So it's actually quite interesting. And that's where the Musk people have been trying to, have his job position and title be kind of vague. So it's hard to sue him. So that's how they sue it. You sue unknown agency or agency of unknown identity, which is kind of interesting. New York says, and this is, I'll just read a little bit of it. It says here, defendant U.S. Department or Agency of Unknown Identity is an as yet unidentified department, agency, or unknown entity of the United States with the ability and or authority to return $80 million in unlawfully grabbed funding to the city's bank account and is named here for the purpose of ensuring that complete relief may be obtained. I just want you to see the language of this thing. It's kind of awkward to sue someone when you don't know where they work or their exact title. It's such a strange thing, but that's the strange world that we live in. And every time I look up, one of these situations where, Musk is talking about, money went here, money went there, corruptions, I always dig into it and actually ends up being, obviously in any of these situations, far more detailed than, we can talk about in like a 10-minute video, but because there's a lot of stuff involved. But the basic gist of it is that it's often misleading, the stuff that Musk says. And if you guys want to read through all this stuff, hey, please do. I'm just telling the basic gist of it is that he portrays things that are not true. I'll give you an example of this. So this person here, this is Kristi Noem. She'll talk about, all these Democrats who are against this, was it Laken-Riley Act, are evil people, etc. And you'll see it in comments on YouTube. Oh, how could anyone vote for the Laken-Riley Act? But the thing is, the way that they portray things is not exactly the case. So in the Laken-Riley Act situation, how would you define, what is an illegal migrant or what is a sex offender or whatever? The definitions matter for these kind of bills or these kind of things, because if you define something too broad, then it can include a lot of different categories. So oftentimes when someone like a Musk or say Kristi Noem in the situation try to pass some sort of bill or whatever, they will name it, for example, they'll name it I'll just for example, hurricane relief, right? And then in the bill, maybe they'll throw in all these things of drilling for oil in Texas or whatever, or in drilling for oil in Yellowstone. I'm just giving for example. And then if you vote against this thing because you disagree with, say, drilling in oil for and Yellowstone, and you include that in a bill that's related to hurricane relief, they'll just start saying, don't you want to, fight hurricanes? Don't you care about hurricane people? And you're just like, well, yeah, I do care about hurricane people, but I don't necessarily want to vote for this bill the way that you wrote it. And so the point I'm trying to make is that they gaslight people by saying, how could you possibly be against me when everything I say is truthful all of the time? But it's just not the case. The problem with the Musks and the Trumps and all these people, they say things that are untrue. And whenever I dig into any one of these things, I can spot out, like where this is. Like, for example, they're going to claim their, hotels, their luxury hotels, etc. And then, for example, when I read New York's claim, they're saying, well, we had a couple investigations, they didn't find anything, so your claims are untrue, right? Like that's the point I'm trying to make really clearly, is that, and then there's the picture here of, like, they're going to claim these are luxury hotels, but I mean, I can see pictures for myself. I can see they had a couple investigations, and if you want to dig further into that, that's fine. I have no problem with people investigating waste or fraud, or I got no problem with that. But I'm not going to sit here and just make like false claim after false claim after false claim, which is what the Trumps and the Musks, that those kind of people do. And then people get all these angry over false claims. And and the thing is, this stuff can get really, really complicated. Like, I'll give you an example. And it's like, I can't go through every one of these things in every video. Like, so this is a list of the various things that you would spend money on, because when Musk says you're spending money on luxury hotels, it actually, the money that he's citing includes a lot of different costs, be it meals, be it transportation, be it medical care, be it hygiene, be it clothing, be it translation service, outreach programs, various facilities, etc. I'm just giving you like a simple list to give you an idea of like how misleading the Trump and Musk can be. I'll give you another example. So that you have to establish first is that, guys, I'm happy having a conversation of any of these kind of things, be it waste or fraud, be it where money goes, etc. But the problem with the Musks and the Trumps, they purposely mislead you. So I'll give you another example. This just came out today. One of Musk's accounts says, Gunther Eagleman, of course we support Doge. Those who don't support it are un-American, right? So that's how they talk, right? If you don't support us, you're un-American. And then he says, poll, more Americans view Doge favorably than unfavorably. That's his post. I don't know what poll he's referring to. I have no idea. I can't tell. I even Googled the title. I'm like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. The most recent poll that I have right here is from February 19th. It says February 19th, it was Trump presidential approval, 48%. Doge approval is at 41%. So I don't know where you're getting that. See, it's just completely misleading. I don't know where this is from. I don't know what date it's from. There's nothing cited there, but that's the kind of stuff that Musk will do. And if you're smart enough to at least ask questions a little bit, you'll kind of see through their smoke and mirrors, because they do this all the time. The problem is that, and I've been thinking about this today, is for Trump and Musk, they talk like 13-year-olds basically. And they're communicating to other people who have mentality of 13-year-olds. And so I don't know if U.S. in politics today that we all have to talk like 13-year-olds, and then therefore that's the only way to communicate to the public. I don't know. Do I have to communicate memes nonstop, or no one will listen to me? I mean, is that where we're reduced to? And it's frustrating, because you can't actually solve anything with adult conversations if they want the conversation to be like 13-year-olds, and that's where we are at. And that's why it becomes deeply frustrating, if you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, for example, this is Musk tweeting out today, because he keeps saying, why don't people answer my email, etc. And he's making fun of federal workers, saying, got done last week, cried about Trump, cried about Elon, made it into the office for once, read some emails, cried about Trump, cried about Elon some more, whatever. Right. And so the way that they paint federal workers as being, awful people, lazy, and just criers, right? And then if you support Trump and Musk, you're just like, oh yeah, I hate those federal workers, and all they know is these memes. That's how these people communicate, and it's hard to tell what kind of support they have, because if you go to Musk platform, a lot of it could be bots. I don't know for sure. I can tell you every now and then. When I do check, there are definitely bots on there. What percentage, no one knows for sure. They're not going to share with that. But I will say this, and I want to share this. This is Senator Tina Smith, who's fighting back against Musk. She says here, this is the ultimate dick boss move from Musk, except he isn't even the boss. He's just a dick. And that's in regards to Elon Musk threatening to fire people if they don't respond to his email. Senator Tina Smith also says, and she's from Minnesota, so I guess there's lots of cool reps or senators, I should say, or politicians in Minnesota, I guess, because I think Klobuchar is up there and Tim Walz up there, and they kind of have the whole sense of humor here. Tina Smith says, at Elon Musk, I hate to break it to you, but you aren't my boss. I answer to the people of Minnesota. But since you bring it up, I spent last week fighting to stop tax breaks for billionaires like you, paid for by defunding healthcare for moms and babies. And so, guys, I know we make jokes on this channel, and I know we go through awful lot of things, but I understand that there are people out there that do want to have adult conversations about this stuff. And that's what's hard right now. Is it's like, how do you talk to people with mentality of 13-year-olds and don't really want to know the truth? They just want to gaslight you and get angry over stuff that may not necessarily be real. I understand that the anger that people have if you're struggling and you feel like government's wasting money on things they shouldn't be. I understand that. And I think that, like I said, I think it's a reasonable conversation to have if you want to use real numbers and real facts and document things. But again, the way the Musk stuff does it, as I show you guys, they misrepresent stuff incredibly, and it's hard to have these conversations. And then on social media, they spread fake news like nonsense. It's basically the same way that Trump will run around and say, "Oh, look at Obama's birth certificate," or "Look at the election stuff." It's that kind of thing. And how do you have these conversations with people after you disprove their false allegations nonstop? So that's where we're at, and I just wanted to share with you guys. I'm sure you feel frustrated like I do, but I'm trying my best. And I also want to say too, for people who do like Musk or Trump, hey, if you want to have a real conversation, no problem. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk like 13-year-old nonstop. I'll just put it that way. So anyway, I do appreciate your time, everyone, and catch you on the next video.